Welcome back to yet another episode of the My Black Love Abroad podcast with your host, Naj Ellis, and your host,
Oriana Joy.
And today we are talking about friendship breakups.
Yeah.
It's more of a honesty, real talk kind of episode. I know we normally have, just hi and hey and good vibes and all that stuff. But today we wanted to just talk more about community and friendships, and especially in light of the holidays, how things can seem a bit lonely, especially if you have family and they're in different parts of the nation, world, maybe even your own city. Might be a couple hours away, might be tough to get to them. So wanted to break down friendships, relationships a little bit, just how it might be tough to connect during the holidays, especially when it feels like you have to connect in the holidays. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, that seems to be the theme and the vibe of all of the things that are being forced down our throats everywhere we go.
Yes.
And I think one thing we were talking about last night was how many times as you're growing up, community is sort of manufactured for you. Particularly for me growing up in a smaller town, going to a black church, it was just like my friends are built in. I have to go to school. So everybody that I go to school with, for the most part, is either an acquaintance or a friend. And it's just like we grow from there. And then you go to church and you might see some of those same people there. So it's like, oh, we also go to the same church. So I see you all the time, and therefore we must be friends. And when you get out of that space, you then go to college sometimes. And I know for me, once I went to one school first and then I transferred to another. And going between those two different schools, it was very similar to being in public school. It's just like, well, we're here and we're roommates, so we'll figure it out. And not every roommate becomes your best friend. Some of them do, some of them don't. But it's that forced proximity that can kind of manufacture friendships for you.
Yeah.
And with the phenomena of working from home, most adults transition from, we had the forced proximity of church and school to now we have the forced proximity of college to now we have the forced proximity of work. So those are my friends. And when you work from home, it's just like, I don't like y'all. Y'all live in different states and I don't know you and I don't want to know you. So, yeah.
And I think, especially with, obviously this was, even think about it, like, wow, that was 5 years ago. I'm talking about COVID and how
I'm so glad
at
it's
least
over. I'm so glad that it's over.
It was crazy how everyone was forced, pretty much, not everyone, but a lot of people were forced to work from home for the first time ever. So it was totally different trying to build relationships and relate with people. And even if you're religious or you're a Christian, you go to church, having to go to church, watching it online, that was totally different for everybody involved. I'm sure for tech teams, for worship teams, and whoever else. But yeah, it's like there's an element of connection that's lost through the screen, right? And being, like you said, the elements of forced proximity from childhood to when you grow up, it's like you see people all the time, you hang out all the time, and then when you become an adult, it's like you never see them. Especially if you have kids. It's like, all right, well, I'll see you when our kids see each other, pretty much. So it can.
And if they go to the same school, then you're going to see them. But if not, it gets very difficult to continue to build those types of things because life is always going to, life finds a way. And it finds a way to pull you away from all the people that you really want to be with most of the time.
Yeah. And it's also interesting to me how social media especially was designed with a purpose of bringing people together. But I think ironically it's actually made people grow further apart. Primarily because obviously as people who are engaged in social media and things like that, you have to, it's not that you have to, but the way that everyone has engaged in social media, we've created this environment where you have to put on an air and look a certain way and present things
Yeah.
just in the picture perfect element. And so as a result, that adds another layer of, whether we admit it or not, just another hidden layer of intimacy, where it's like, this is a barrier. And we
To truly getting
to
to know
truly getting to
somebody.
know me.
Yeah.
And we think we're showing people like, hey, look, this is me. I'm being authentic. You can get to know me this way, but you're not being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes community even more difficult to have, because you guys are, again, it's you're literally showing less of yourself in a sense. So you're being less authentic. And so when when you're in school and in church and things like that, yeah, everyone is just there, and you see them all the time. And so when you go out into the world and start working and things like that, it's jarring. At least it's been very jarring for me to learn that, like, hey, people I grew up with, people who were homies and things like that, it's like, dang, I might never see them again, or if I do, it's gonna be few and far between, or it feels so. I don't see them as often, so it feels so insignificant. Where it's like, well,
Why even try?
why even try?
Yeah.
Like, how can we even actually be friends if I can talk to you all the time, sure, but like it's nothing
Yeah.
like actually being in
There's a
proximity with
transition that
people.
happens, especially with people that you went to college with, people that maybe you got your first job with where you were in person. There's a transition from I'm seeing you every day, we're working through things together
Yeah.
and getting things in order and showing up and laughing and doing all sorts of things, to I don't see you as often. I might see you once a year. I might see you once every 3 years. I haven't seen you in years. Oh, we're just acquaintances. Like if I see you, I'll be like, hey, I remember you. How you doing? And that's the extent of the intimacy that you have. Whereas if you would go back to the time where you were together, it's just like, oh, well, we talked about relationships and thoughts on politics and all these other things. Like we got on deep conversations. It's so funny. The conversations that you have, especially when your boss is not looking, and you're still getting work done, but you can kind of multitask. And the deep conversations that you have with your coworkers and with your classmates, it's just like, how did, like, being able to think with people in real time and kind of go back and forth that volley is a phenomenal feeling. And when you step out of that over time, that hurts.
Yeah, I obviously, without naming names, we've we used to live in Charleston, South Carolina, and we had, just between church and other places, we had a bunch of friends, and not just like, oh, these are acquaintances, and they do a thing, so we go there and we're just invited. Like, no, like legit people we would stay up with till like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
just talking.
And they could be at our house, we could be at their house, and we talk, we figure, I'd be like, hey, y'all want some pizza, let's all pitch in for something. Like that was just our vibe. And
Yeah.
most of them have kids now.
Yep.
Most of them have moved to different spaces, not just within Charleston, but outside of Charleston.
Yes.
Outside of the
across
state
the
of South
world.
Carolina. And so it's
Yep.
just like, ooh, how am I gonna see you on a regular basis?
Yeah. It was saw a post from one of my homies. He's in Japan. And I was like, yo, Japan, like that's like, obviously very happy for the homies, for all of them, wherever they are. It's great. But it's just like, and obviously we aren't parents, but having spoken or having gotten the opportunity here and there to reconnect with some of the homies who have moved away, they're like, finally. It's like, it's just not, I don't just get the goo gaga talk with my baby
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
You need that adult interaction.
yes, we need that adult interaction. We crave that connection. And so, yeah, I think especially in with regard to the holidays and things like that, there was a video I think we had been watching that you showed me. This is kind of more of a bit on, I guess, the petty or gossipy side,
gosh.
but it was talking about triangulation. And especially when we talk about the holidays and family and getting
And
together
friendships
and
ending.
friendships. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess I would just throw the question up in the air, obviously for y'all as well. But how have you navigated being an adult with your own goals, dreams, aspirations. Obviously, living in a different city than your parents live in, and navigating, trying to still be in community with them. Like, what are your boundaries like now? You know, what are your conversations with them like, especially with regard to the holidays?
Yeah. And even jumping back into friendships, sometimes there can be some strange toxic situations there as well. And it's just like, well, Tina told me that she's upset with you because you didn't show up to support her for whatever thing that she did. And it's just like, why isn't Tina calling me?
Yeah.
Can we not have a conversation about this like adults?
Mm-hmm.
And I know for me, as soon as I get a whiff, because I have zero tolerance for drama in my life, particularly among my female friends. I mean, granted, I don't have a lot of male friends because he's my friend. And any male friends I have are like brothers to him. So
exactly.
It's just like,
Yeah. We all know
yeah,
each other.
we all know each other. But yeah, when it comes to female relationships and that sisterhood there, I'm very, very particular about the women that I surround myself with. And so if I even get a hint of a whiff of drama, I peep game and I pull back. And most of the time it sucks because I'm just like, I thought you were a really cool person and you turned out to be manipulative and using people and doing things that just are not healthy and helpful. And so you kind of figure out where to involve them in your life and where to kind of be like, nope, they can't come to this. I don't want their presence here. I don't want their energy to dilute the type of environment I'm trying to make.
Yes, yes.
So in doing that, I think it's hard to kind of process and identify that feeling because some people will call it a form of grief, where it's just like you had something and you lost it and you can't get it back. That is, in essence, because when I think of grief, most people automatically think of somebody has passed on and they can't come back. People don't come back to life. So knowing that, it's just like trying to figure out how to do that with friendships ending, but it's just like the person is not dead. It's just the relationship is dead.
Yeah, the relationship.
The intimacy that you once had is not coming back to life for various reasons. And trying to figure out, well, how do I move forward without this person's presence in my life? That is a whole different ballgame.
As far as how I would navigate, I guess, just where you go from here in light of the friendship dying, it's tough. I was talking about how I'm jealous of the way that children make friends. Mainly, mainly because children don't have they don't have any filters, or they have very little filters, and that's just because they're still very curious and learning about life and just existence around them. But they deeply connect on very simple things. So it's like, hey, you like that color? I like that color too. Let's make a game about the color, and now we're friends. Like, and like fast friends. So they're like legit, like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Boom, boom, boom. And they keep plans. Assuming their the parents were at school or whatever the case happens. But they're committed to each other. They see each other, and I'm like, dang, how do I do that as an adult? Especially having had friends and friendships that were extremely deep, that, again, people moved away, people got kids. That's tough to just start trusting again. And I honestly, because I love my friends, so it's difficult to just start trusting and loving with a complete stranger. It's difficult, and it's like, well, where do you begin? And I've always said, I think I said this in another one of our episodes, just to start out with little secrets, a top, not like a top level, but like if your secrets are deep. So a top level secret is something that's you wouldn't mind sharing with somebody, but it's not your deepest, darkest secret. So you throw that out there into the ether, say, hey, let me see what they're gonna do with this. Are they gonna protect it? Keep it close to them. It's like, okay, I did that. I can trust you now. Or are they going to say, "Hey, everybody, look at this. Let's clown this person," or whatever the case, you know? So
Mm.
begin building trust by throwing out little tidbits and different levels of secrets. And
Mhm.
then I think simplify it. You know, I think we try to look for and I think quote unquote attempt to use a type of discernment to say, oh, let me see if this person gonna do.
Mhm.
Just simplify. Yo, let's go eat. Let's go bowl. Let's go
Mhm.
here or there, and just do things together. Learn things about each other while you're doing the things together, and then
Mhm.
from there, just keep doing that, and eventually, you know, it doesn't have to be um, deepest, darkest secrets off rip day one. It's because it's not gonna be that, right?
Yeah.
Just be friends with the people you can be friends with in the capacity in which you can be friends with them. You know, and I
And what
think
that means is looking at your schedule and commitment to where can I actually fit you in on a practical basis. Because I
yeah,
think that that consistency of seeing people is also part of what can make friendships die. When it's just like, I ain't seen you in 5 years. And
yeah,
there are some people, like I was telling you about this yesterday. I have a
mm-hmm.
friend who's up in New York. And I call her my friend because it does not matter how long it's been since I've seen this woman. When I see you, we are in the same emotional intimacy level that we were at 5+ years ago. It doesn't matter. And it's weird because it's kind of like this unspoken rule that we both have. It's just like, I remember how you were. I know time has passed, but I want to have that same feeling of acceptance and joy and relaxation and comfort that I had
Yep.
with you then. And so I'm going to step out on that foot now when I see you, even though it's been years. I don't know how to go about getting that unspoken rule with other people, but
Yeah,
it's something that I do
yeah.
because
It might
it makes me feel less lonely.
when it comes to hanging out with people, don't feel as because a lot of people just in general relationships these days, be like, oh, you didn't text me back in 2 hours, ghost, cut off. Like I'm not even.
Yeah.
Don't do that
That's
with.
not helpful.
Don't do that
That's
with
not
your
how we build
friendships.
healthy relationships, guys.
Don't do that with your friendships. See each other when you can, in the capacity that you can. So even if you can only get together for like an hour, 30 minutes, whatever time you can make that build off of that. Don't just be like, well, hey, I just can't see you, so F it. Like, because the people that we've been friends with for over a decade, there are times where we go years between
Mm-hmm.
seeing each other, you know, because that's
Yeah.
just the way things are now. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll talk every couple months, like on the phone or wherever. But and then when we do see each other, you know, then we make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just see people where you can. That's what I mean when I say lower your standards, because a lot of people would think, well, dang, if I don't see you every single day, talk to you every single day, guess we can't be friends. We're adults, okay?
Yeah. The expectation for our
The
schedules is
expectation
different.
changes.
And where we have to be because we got to pay
Yes.
bills and we got to go get groceries and those sorts of
Yeah,
things.
tend to children and all the things.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we also need to be intentional about showing up where we want to be
Yes.
and finding those communities. And so I think the biggest way we process the growth of kind of losing old friends is stepping out and trusting again and consistently trying to get situated with new friends.
Yes. And I would also say, because as an adult, something that I feel like I've recently discovered is like friends givings. I don't know if people have
Yes, I want
friends
to host one of those one
friends
day.
Christmases. I don't know if they have those as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that
Because some
is
people's families are extremely toxic and they don't have contact with them and they don't see them.
yeah.
And so it's just like, I'm going to create a ritual of being with the people that I have chosen as my family. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
have the family you're born into, and then you have a chosen
Mm.
family. And
Yep.
you get to choose, number one, your chosen family, but also which one you spend time with.
Yeah. And I think those are an incredible invention because it still gives adults like us the opportunity to be in community, especially during days where I think just through marketing and other psychological means,
Mm-hmm.
November and December these months will just make you feel like, oh man, I gotta spend time with somebody. You know, you see matching pajamas, people doing that stuff under the
Yes.
tree. It just makes you feel like, dang, I'm missing out. Something is lacking, or something about me is less than.
Mm-hmm.
There's all those tactics around, but I think Friendsgiving and Friends Christmases are great ways to circumvent those. To still say, hey, I have people in my life who I care about, who care about me,
Mm-hmm.
and we can still hang out, we still link, and I'm not alone, right? I think
Yes.
you were telling me, just in general, about friendships and loneliness and all this other stuff. You were telling me about some, I guess, some older people in
Mm-hmm.
a community somewhere, I forget, but pretty much they're like in their 80s, 90s, and
Yes.
they do everything
So
together.
they're on one of those little islands in Japan, because Japan is like a string of
Japan,
islands, and
yes.
they're all like over 100 or getting
Oh,
close to 100.
yeah,
And part of the reason why they've lived so long is because they have that small, tight knit
yes.
community, and they see each other all the time. So they
Hmm.
go bowling, they help each other bake for their grandchildren. They do different things together consistently, and that
Yes,
that consistency and that intentionality and the depth of friendship that they built when they were in their 40s and 50s and 60s, they're reaping the benefits of that now in their 80s, 90s, and going on to 100.
yes,
The same
and
can happen here, but you have to be intentional, and it's very
yes.
difficult to be intentional with friendships when it's just like every other message is telling you chase that money,
Hmm.
get that paper, mind your business, sip your tea, and shush. And it's just like, no, I need to be out here. I have to mind not only my business, but sometimes I also got to mind somebody else's
Yeah,
and be present.
I think that we, especially as men, if I can talk to the fellas for a second, I think we underestimate how important community is. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of men, if you want to talk about this loneliness epidemic for a second, different people have different perspectives on that. The only element of that I will speak to is that I think that a lot of guys can feel like it's just maybe either okay or necessary to be a loner. That's like, hey, it's just me, maybe me and a dog, if that. But
Not the dog.
I'm just out here, I'm doing my thing, and that's just what it is. And humans are social creatures, bro. We are social creatures. Um, as men, we have emotions that need to be tended to, and being in community literally keeps you alive.
Yes.
And so when you, I guess, to get a little bit deep for a second, when you are being intentional about your relationships, you are being intentional about being alive.
Mm.
You are exercising your will to live. You know, I think if we think about a lot of people who um, pass away soon, or it seems like, oh, they passed away too young, or whatever, whatever. In a lot of ways, they lost their will to live. Their desire, courage. I know it's kind of an old word, but gumption to live,
Their
right? The
vitality.
vitality, right?
Yes.
And so, yes, though the people that you mentioned who are living into their hundreds, which is that's crazy,
Yeah.
right? And we we just have some grandparents that are going on 94.
Yes.
So, you know, to think about people who have lived that long, that's because they have people in their lives who are like, hey, I love you, I see you, I respect you. I
Mm-hmm.
can, you know, continue to keep your brain stimulated by talking about various things. Like
Mm-hmm.
all of that literally keeps you alive. And so I guess when we're talking about friendships and their breakups and grieving relationships and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. Um, I would as I would recommend that you that as fast as you possibly can get through those stages of grief and get back into finding community and trusting again. And it doesn't have to be deep. Just lower your standards. Start somewhere. It can be like, okay, this is a book club. You know, this is just a bunch
I
of
have
people.
amazing book club friends.
She does. She
I just started
does.
it this year, and I
Yes.
love them
Talk
so
to the
much.
people.
They're very, very sweet. So I think, like what you were saying with keeping it simple, I know I love to read. So I was just like, I'm going to
Bookworm.
find, thank you, my love. I'm going to find some people that are in the city that want to read, that want to meet up on a regular basis. And
Yes.
so I went on Facebook because that is its purpose. And I was just like, okay, I need a book club that's in Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
And I found one and showed up.
Yes.
And over the years, just like we've gotten to know each other, we've been able to hear each other's thoughts on various subjects.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, yeah, I rocks with y'all. I like this a lot.
Yeah.
And so I even think that simple fact of knowing who you are and knowing what you like, finding other people that like the same thing you like, and then figuring out how to build with them. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. And then do what I said earlier. Peep game. If they act like they ain't got no sense, slowly back away because we don't need toxicity in our lives. But it
Yeah.
it and it's hard because it's just like in my head, I'm just like, it should be that simple. And sometimes it is, if you
Yeah.
allow it to be simple. But if you hyper complicate it and be like, oh, I wonder what they're thinking of me. Are they gonna judge my space if I invite them over? Are they gonna do A, B, and C? It don't matter. And if they do, like I said, slowly back away.
Yeah. I would say, again, lastly, to reiterate what I said earlier, attempt to gain some of that childlike, just wonder and just ease of not access, but just putting yourself out there. You know, kids don't care, right?
No, they
And
don't.
and it's like it's crazy. It's like the older I get, I'm just like, I see why kids don't care. You know, I see why they're so carefree about a lot of stuff, because and it's hard to try and be that way, especially just with life and other things going on. But you can't lose that. I mean, this kind of sounds poetic, but that twinkle in your eye. I think when I think of kids, it's just like they're bright eyed, bushy tailed, always ready for the next adventure or whatever it is, and that you can't lose that about yourself
Yeah.
in this life that'll try to rob you of that.
Yes.
Right?
It makes me think. I recently saw, I think either Dick Van Dyke recently turned 100 or he's about to turn 100.
That's crazy.
And in one of his interviews, one of the things he said, he's just like, I'm technically, my body is 100 years old, but I'm around 11.
Big kid.
He's
Yes.
a huge kid. And he's just like, I enjoy life. I find the things that I like to do that are fun and I do them. And I figure out how I can continue doing those things. And obviously, the taking care of yourself and all those things. But that biggest
Yes.
part was continue to be a child
Yes.
as much as you can.
Indeed. And the last thing I'll leave you guys with, again, My Black Love Abroad, it is a space for Black people, primarily Black couples, to get together, share stories, share their journeys. And again, if you've been all over the world or if you're still just trying to figure out how to make it to your local park, whatever the case is, just get out there. Don't lose that childlike wonder about yourselves and build community. Stay alive.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we can wrap it up there. And so it's been great having another episode with you guys. We love y'all, and we will see y'all on the next one.